James Caltestin, Twitter.com. Elvis Presley Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 19. If you have the Sirius XM app or in your vehicle, it's Channel 19 live from Graceland. Elvis Presley music all day and all night long, 24/7. Real quick, I want to talk about today's Angels Talk post-game show. Today, the Indians defeated the Angels 8-3 in the rubber game Sunday at Angel Stadium with a rookie pitcher and early lead 5-0. But I want to talk about two of the last callers on Angels Talk today. And the first one and the second one both taking direct, uncool shots at our play-by-play broadcaster, Terry Smith, Mark Langston. And I want to start out by saying,
please say a command.
AM 830. When I
Now
listen
listening to
AM
AM
830 on my radio dial every day for Angels pregame, it makes me so happy when Terry Smith initially and first comes on the radio in the beginning of that show every game for Angels baseball, and it makes my day all the way till the final pitch, and then for a extra does Angels Talk when the play-by-play broadcaster really doesn't have to do Angels Talk. Another radio host can do it to take some of these horrendous callers. And I'm one of the callers that call in Angels Talk, Cal Tustin, James Cal Tustin. And I want to thank Terry Smith, Jason Brennan, Jeff Biggs, and the radio hosts on AM 830 for first of all giving me the opportunity to go on the radio and talk Angels baseball. Since 2010, I've had some really good radio spots for Angels baseball while I trying to still do radio on the side, and I have done play-by-play for football, basketball, soccer, and baseball. And I'm always thinking about coming back to doing play-by-play. And one of the ways I do get my word out is by doing radio spots. And if those radio spots weren't available, a lot of people wouldn't have the ability to get their voices heard. Specifically, AM 830 talking about Angels baseball. And these are tough games, tough times for the Angels. But in today's game, I don't think I've ever heard of the toughest of toughest times for two consecutive callers to call in an uncool way to criticize Terry Smith for, first of all, the first caller. I forgot what his name was and where he was from, and I'm not going to, criticize, sounding, geekish or however you sound on the radio, however you knew or don't know about baseball. But I think he criticized the first question about speed pitches, curveballs, and fastballs, whether the broadcasters were saying on every single pitch if it were a fastball, curveball, slider. And I think the broadcasters, both Terry Smith and Mark Langston, constantly give a speed pitch and how many miles per hour each pitch was made. 90 miles an hour, 86 miles an hour. And I just don't understand, first of all, that question. But the next caller, and this is the second time, and I'm going to just go leave it at that for the first caller. The second caller, Greg from Ventura. Greg from Ventura calls regularly on a lot of shows on the same times I call in. And he's criticized me before in 2010 for just whatever reason. It didn't really matter. But today he criticized Terry Smith and Mark Langston for not giving the batting averages before the game for the baseball players. And it's ironic because they constantly give the batting averages for the players, because the other day I posted Albert Pujols was batting .231, and I'm constantly following baseball players' batting averages, and because of Terry Smith and Mark Langston, I'm instantly have the ability to get those batting averages when I want to, and they make it amusing when they do give extra stats for other baseball players from other teams when they're doing well, when they're not doing well, and matchups and stats. And Mark's been doing a really good job on that exceptionally. But for Greg, the second time in about 3 weeks to call in the Angels talk, Greg, I want you to know that I've been to Ventura and it's a 2.5, maybe 2 hours and 15-minute drive. It's further than Oxnard. And I appreciate, first of all, that you're an Angels fan. But, Greg, um, to call in and insult Terry today on the radio after the other caller insulted him, and you were slurring on the radio, Greg. The last time you were criticizing Hector Santiago's when he was ejected out of the ball game for appealing a pitch against the umpire, and he was prematurely ejected, and you criticized him personally, Greg, and that was uncool. And first of all, Greg, I think you owe an apology not only to Hector Santiago for that call, but I think you should call in to AM 830 and go on Roger Lodge's show and apologize to Terry Smith for your call and horrendous and most despicable phone call today after that 8-3 defeat versus the Cleveland Indians. James Caltestin, Twitter.com. Greg, I want to add that today I'm not sure if you're in the garage just listening to the radio, drinking beer. It really doesn't matter what you're doing, but when you go and criticize a person for not giving batting averages, and then you want the scoop on Marte. That's what MLB.com's for those in between times where you can just go on and actually while you're on the phone, you can see his batting average and what he brings to the team. And Greg, your call today, I really wanted to call after that call, but you were the last call today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call AM 830 tomorrow because I'm already attempting to put in my own radio show together. But Greg, that call deserves an apology. You need to call Roger Lodge's show or Angels Talk during this week and apologize to Terry Smith for your ridiculous phone call on Angels Talk on Sunday after that game versus the Cleveland Indians. James Caltestin, Twitter.com. Thank you very much for listening.